Here goes. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 27th of September. So let's get started looking at the news due out today, the risk events. Not that much in terms of high risk events which really get the market moving. Just looking through here, we do have quite a lot of speakers still kicking around, and particularly this week. If you just scroll down, you just see speaks. In other words, there's speakers all week. This in itself can create quite a bit of volatility. I would watch out for these speakers. 1 o'clock this afternoon, we've got Evans, and you can, I don't know if it still does it here, sometimes it will show if they're actually a voting member. Not. In fact, they've stopped doing that by the looks of things. Oh, no. Yep. Yeah, voting member, so 2021, so they're to be listened to. They'll have more impact on the markets potentially. So just need to watch out for these this week, and it's mainly speakers. Earlier part of the week particularly. Bank of England governor speaking at 7 o'clock in the evening won't affect us during our normal day trading. So today really durable goods there at 1:30 is quite key. Traders are starting to look back at it again, but I don't think it's going to be a major mover, but it may certainly create some short-term volatility. Key thing that is being spoken about and is pushing the markets, pushing the dollar up, is the Treasury yields. Just looking at one day here, if you just go to 3 months, you can see how this is picking up again, and when it runs up to these higher levels, it puts more pressure on the markets, and it tends to strengthen the US dollar. So there we go, it's bond selling basically, that's the cause of it, and it's pushing the yields up. Okay, so let's have a look at these markets, starting off looking at the dollar index first, euro dollar even first. Last week saw quite a bit of a chop towards the end of the week. Friday's selling off in the end. It's selling off at the moment, and as I say, it's put a bit of a pressure on the bond market there. We are seeing that these markets just rolling off. In fact, if we see a bit of a continuation of this bar, maybe we'll see it running down towards Friday's lows, and maybe beyond. The S1 looks like a reasonable sort of point. Now, as ever with these markets, you sort of get to about 8 o'clock, 8:30, and they can completely change direction. So making any sort of forecast or looking at these is quite often difficult at this time. But to get back to have a any sort of bullish view on this, it would need for me to be above its hourly 50. It's not very many pips away in real terms. These markets are like 15 pips or so, or 20 pips, but these markets are quite fickle at times at the moment. But realistically, to me, it still looks very much in a bearish direction for the euro, and I'd prefer to be trading it that way. The pound. Pound also, you look at the big picture here, still pretty bearish. Yes, last Thursday had a decent update, but Friday came, it gave half that back straight away, and at the moment again consolidation around this sort of short-term low movement, and well, we could see the same. That said, just with the euro, a break maybe above its 60.50, I'd be much more bullish on it. It has the potential to move more to the upside versus, I think, than the euro. It's got a better chance of that, but we'll see. But for now, just wait post 8 o'clock, see what it sets. A break of this sort of 36.58 area, then maybe sell stop sitting below that from the buyers that have come up, buying into these lows, triple bottoms, etc. But that might help things. And the S1 then could be in target, so watch for the sell orders being triggered, but too early, it could just be a fake. Dollar yen, last week it's continuing to edge a little bit higher, but it's back into this. It's still sitting in this range. I've put the range now on the dailies here just so you can see it is a bit range bound. Longer term, it may sort itself out and roll back, but for now it's looking a bit more on the bullish side, particularly intraday. You look at the high lows, high highs, it's gone very steep. It has got a weekly pivot below which could become a target. If it does start selling off, could well become a target below. Just looking at that, if it, as I say, if it does start selling, you see the dollar selling off here, breaking this low here, for me then it becomes a little bit more bearish, and that weekly pivot becomes a target. Otherwise we just could consolidate, and I mean you can just see how cleanly it's really moved up there and over the last few days, 3 days. So looking quite clean to the upside, but at some point of course it'll have a bigger retracement. This could be it if it does sell off, start selling off. Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar again chopping along here, very as it was last week, very similar to the euro in a lot of its price action. Although saying that, coming down to this 4-hourly, and it's proven me a bit wrong in that direction at that point. For now, it has put a higher low in. It's moved a bit further up. It's got a bit messy here. It's also in the shorter time frames. In the short time frame, puts a lower high in. So switching between the two, but this hourly has cleared the higher low. It's not hit its R1 or S1 at the moment. The way this sits, maybe if it breaks back up above this current bar and it changes direction here, we could be up from maybe back into the body highs back here, R1, and then body highs as targets the upside. But very bitty. Canadian dollar, it's been in a clear strengthening act. The price of oil's helped it to quite some degree. Lower highs, lower lows. We've got another correction, and it broke my low trend line there on Friday, and is selling off at the moment, or has been selling off at the moment. Just maybe finding a bit of support here into its S1, weekly S1, daily S1, beg pardon. At the moment it looks like something that's better to be sold into than bought into, so I would look for any retracements and consider reversals into those for selling personally. Right, that's pretty much it there. Euro yen, as I look at it so frequently, I like to just have a flick through here. This has been euro against many of its other majors has been quite decent at times, and this shows you how much it bounced the last 3 days there, leading into today. Again here, well, there's a bit of divergence sitting across the highs here. We've got a weekly pivot below, which could become quite a good target. These do get hit quite frequently, not always when you want them to be hit, but there's more potential towards the earlier part of the week than the later part of the week in general. But say a bit of divergence, this could roll back towards that weekly pivot. Let's just come down to the hourlies here, just really just emphasizing that weakness over the move here. Just the RSI just sort of dropping down here a bit softer. We could, as I say, see more of a correction to the downside there. Right, let's look at gold. So gold called a bit of a bounce. It's a little bullish harami sort of price action there, but not really following through too well today. Into its weekly pivot, high low. There was okay, so it's done some things which might suggest that it's going to push up further. And looking at this, through its weekly pivot and its daily pivot, with daily pivot already, weekly pivot is erring on that sort of more bullish side, and the short-term frame here. Personally, I just would sit out of it at the moment. I just don't like the price action too much, but I'd be looking for the short side. The way it's come down here, lower highs, lower lows, and I really would be looking for a clean reversal, but it's not really got one at the moment. And as I said, it's on the short term here, it's pushed up, giving us a higher low, so I'll just stay out of it for now. Okay, oil. So it's pointed out to me I was right on Friday. Well, stop clock's right every now and again, isn't it? Let's have a look here. So it just surged through the day on Friday. In fact, it went earlier than expected. I mean, it just literally Okay, consolidated. Oh, it wasn't too bad there actually, but certainly surge coming at 2 o'clock, and this is the sort of time of the day I expect more of a movement on this market. Sometimes it starts off a little bit earlier, but you get the push in on 2 o'clock, and well, we'll see what happens today. There's no reason why it should change course at the moment. It's not really giving me too much of an excuse to be looking for the sell side, and so just looking for the retracements. There is a daily and weekly pivots both below there. If either of those get touched, well, maybe there's a point of looking for a buy after 2 o'clock. Right, that's that. Let's look at the other markets here and come in. Okay, crypto's ready. It's on the scene here. Let's just have a look. So the crypto market, let's look at Bitcoin, and it's really largely been dancing around for most of the week, well, certainly the weekend and the last few days. Last week it did get a bounce coming in to play there, but it's not convincing to me at the moment. I'm really looking to see if it breaks down this daily 100. If it starts breaking down, well, that puts yet another lower high in and looks quite weak. Consolidation around here just looks like it's waiting to roll further. Consolidation around a high, it looks like it's generally like here. When it's consolidating around these highs, it looks like it's going to push up. When it's pulling back here and consolidating around the lows here, yep, it did get a little pop here, but it drops, and I'm still quite thinking, well, at the moment it's sort of, as with Ethereum and Ripple, they're all looking like they could slide down. This is much Cardano is even looking more messy to try and do anything with. So there we are. That's the crypto markets, looking to me still erring on the potential downside. Looking at the wrong market here. Let's switch over to the indices and look at what's been going on here. Well, CSI 300 consolidating. It's again consolidating around a low. A break of my trend line here, it would be much more a bearish signal. Where it's sitting at the moment, it's struggling to get anywhere significant there. The Nikkei's been sort of dancing all around it. It was closed for part of last week. It gapped down. It gave this island reversal, and there are measurements in terms of measuring that, and that's normally from the high through to the gap, and you look at pushing that to the downside. But in these markets, in these times, it's not a reliable way of measuring it. So someone asked me about measuring how far will it go. Well, it's a difficult one, and when to buy, when to sell it. The Nikkei's just really difficult at the moment as it is. So it's gapping and jumping all over the place. Is the answer there? You need a crystal ball, and I haven't got one. On the other hand, let's have a look at the European markets. The FTSE pushing up at the moment. It's still looking okay. It's unlike the likes of Bitcoin, where they're all sitting consolidated around their lows, we're having put lower highs in. This is turned round, and it seems to be looking okay at the moment. The FTSE is pushing up quite decently. The DAX, similar-ish. It's the correction from the lows there, from the double bottom they put in earlier last week. We've seen this sort of push up here, and it's getting quite a bounce at the moment. The CAC, there we go. There we go, CAC, same thing. It's come back in. It looks always, to me, it looks the weaker when things start rolling over, but again, half decent correction here, and probably no surprise. There's the S&Ps leading the way as well, or say leading the way, joining in with the journey on the way. Just come to the underside of the trend line. This would be interesting to see what it does here, whether it corrects itself from this. We often see price action coming up to an underside of the trend line and selling off again. If it manages to break through, well, then it remains bullish. Looking at other American markets there, the Nasdaq likewise pushing up at the moment, and the Dow Jones really getting a decent buy on there, so looking bullish on the equity markets for now. So again, it's the case of don't step in front of them at the moment. Right, that's it for me. I wish you a great day's trading, and I will catch you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.